All right, guys, this is where we're at. Nearing the finish line. This job is a lot easier to do with a buddy, but I'm solo mio. So anyhow, still got to put the drive shaft in and the transmission bolts and nuts. Got to fill the transmission up. I got to tell you, man, I am not a fan of how Mazda did this transmission tunnel. These bolts are all different sizes. They're all different lengths. Never mind, I'm going to clean that up. Don't worry. Anyways, lots and lots of stuff going on. So, new clutch is in. It took me quite a while to get this transmission stabbed in there. For those of you who've done it before know, sometimes it goes real easy and sometimes it doesn't. And today was a doesn't. Got so busy I forgot to eat lunch. It's now 6 p.m. and I am just ate and feeling rather exhausted. So anyways, don't do that to yourself. Use me as an example of what not to do. Also, don't do this by yourself. Get a buddy to help. So you can see I got a couple more bolts to go. I got to get the starter bolted up. I probably got to go, probably a good, I don't know, let's just say 2 hours ahead of me with everything I got to do. So, and I am working slower and slower as the day progresses. I may end up wrapping this up, to be honest with you, and finish this up tomorrow. Just because when you get tired like I am, you can probably hear my voice. I am laying on my back though. You stop thinking so clearly. So let me give you the skinny on the Mazda trans tunnel thing. Sorry, I'm kind of moving around a lot. So the bolts are all different sizes, right? You got 17s, 14s, 12s, and 10s, and on top of that, they're different lengths. So you think you got one started and you're good to go, and you're not. You gotta redo it. So that sucks. I can tell you that, you know, those of you who've worked on American vehicles know that it's typically not like this. You'll see something like this maybe on a diesel. Especially with these side braces. I don't know why Mazda chose to do that. I almost didn't put them back on, but I didn't know what would happen if I didn't. For all I know, there's something weird. So, whatever, they're on there now. They're back in there. Yeah. Next time I come back online, I hope that you hear the truck running, and we'll be back then. Did I say there was no metal in that oil? Well, there wasn't in that oil. Well, there is now, because I poured some of this out to review the contents of the oil pan. But it looks like the pickup screen did its job. And there are the bearings. This is a number 2 cylinder rod bearing. And this was the culprit of the noise. Well, part of the culprit of the noise. So, and I need to apologize to you guys for not filming this whole series of events. As I mentioned in my community post, I've not been feeling well, and I said there that I have some kind of bug, and that's probably true because of how intense this has been. But every time I lay on my back underneath the truck, I get super nauseous and start experiencing vertigo, and I have to stop. I typically can just kind of work through a number of things, but I literally can't with this. So this has been a rather long slog, and I have been struggling to just get this done, let alone
film anything. I'm feeling a lot better today, and been working on this, get the oil pan off, and wanted to see what I could do, and hoping and actually praying that it wasn't any worse than it is, and it's not. Luckily, the journal in there, the rod journal's looking good. It's not perfect, but it's still definitely usable. Definitely not machine shop friendly. Machinists would probably, and some engine builders, and even me, would be like, no way you're putting that back together. I actually have to, guys. I'm gonna do my best to get this thing cleaned up. There really isn't much to clean up, so far as I can tell. I do have some mics. I'm gonna put some mics on it and measure them out. Not on camera. I'm sorry. I know I had plans for this, to give you guys some ideas of what's going on, and I can't. It's just health related. I'm sorry. In any case, the clutch was, okay, let me back up a little bit. I got to tell you about this clutch. So the sound was coming from the clutch bell housing when I used my engine stethoscope. So when I finally got the transmission out, which was definitely a slog, when I disconnected the clutch and everything, the clutch disc fell out, so I couldn't actually verify which direction it was facing. However, there was obviously something wrong or something amiss, and put a new clutch in it, got it off the ramps, and went for a drive and started doing the clacking again. I was like, great. But the clutch is butter smooth. This Luck, L-U-K clutch is actually pretty good. Highly recommend it. Super smooth, and nothing wrong with Exedy. Really well-known brand, very good brand. The clutch pedal in the truck felt kind of heavy for a Japanese truck, and putting this Luck in, it feels more appropriate. It's like, oh yeah, well, this is definitely what a light pickup mini truck would feel like. So there may have been actually a problem with the Exedy clutch, unless it just had a really high pressure plate on it. That's definitely a possibility. But there was definitely something wrong with that clutch, because as you saw in the video, the clutch springs had some, obviously where they've been interfering with something. Anyways, so here we are with the real problem, and I've got to order some bearings, but before I do that, I need to measure the crank and see where I'm actually sitting. If I'm within spec for the standard size, then I'm just going to order some standard size bearings, and I'm definitely going to, at least by minimum, replace the one here, but I'm actually thinking just go ahead and replace all the rod bearings, just to get that done and out of the way, so as to avoid potentially having the same thing happen again. And now that I'm saying that out loud, that's definitely what I'm going to do. That just makes more sense than just replacing the one. So in any case, I need to get some stuff ordered. I need to get this cleaned up.
2,000 years later.
What do you think? It's been doing great. So I've been running like this for some time now. I wanted to, actually I needed to get this thing back on the road, because again, this is my daily driver, and so it's been doing fine. Not the most ideal circumstance to put new rod bearings on a crank that needs to be turned in a bare minimum. Well, no, this one needs to be turned for sure. So this is a temporary fix, and the intent is that now I'm all in on rebuilding this engine, and so look forward to a video about that. My hope is that I can find a junkyard motor, rebuild that outside of this truck, get it the way I want it, and then do an engine swap, so my downtime is minimalized with the truck. So just to recap on what I did, because again, I was not able to film any of this. The number 2 rod bearing ended up taking the next size up on the rod bearings. So everything else is standard. That one actually did not take the next size up. I mixed them. So I used one standard size bearing and the next size up. So basically I was in the middle between the standard size thresholds for measurements and the next size for a turned crank. And so I used plastic gates to check all my work, and everything came out within spec. It's not right, okay? But it's not clanging around and getting worse. So would I recommend this to somebody for their daily driver? Yes, if you're in my circumstances. If you have zero intention of ever rebuilding the engine and you need it to last for 100,000 miles, no, I do not recommend doing what I did. This is a temporary fix. However, there are stories out there of folks doing this for years. This is not uncommon to do, and their engines will last decades, and I'm not kidding. There are also stories of people trying to do this and their engines last seconds, and that's what I was worried about. But it's doing good. Did you hear some ticking? That's the valve train. Ignore that, just what these things do. I've adjusted it per Mazda specs, which are all right there. Hopefully you can hear me talking over the engine. And it's been good. So more to come on the Mazda. Again, I've been driving this for a while, and sorry for not uploading any videos. We are packing up our house, trying to get this thing sold. Lots of boxes back there, more boxes up there, and this came at a difficult time. So had to get moving on other things. On Sunday, so this is now Tuesday, so this is my time, my Sunday, not your Sunday. The front left caliper seized up, and so I've got new brake parts on the way, so I'll have another video on the Mazda. I'm doing all of it. Both, the whole front end braking system is getting replaced. That's the hoses, both calipers, pads, and rotors. I'm also going to do the shocks in the front and rear and bleed the entire brake system. So that's the plan. That video will probably end up being in a couple weeks. So anyhow, that's where we're at, guys. I appreciate you staying patient with me as I deal with all this stuff in my life right now. I know a lot of y'all been there too. So if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Go ahead and like the video if you like it. If you don't like it, pretend that you do. And until next time, peace out and keep it between the ditches.